Welcome everybody to this video presentation of mine. Something interesting going on in the Middle East. The German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock has outlined her government's, Germany's government plans to help Syria. And you know, this is not something new for Germany because they have been helping Middle Eastern countries for quite a while, getting oil and shipping them arms. Saudi Arabia, for instance, Egypt, the UAE, and you know, other countries, and so to help Syria is nothing new. And I think in terms of what's going on in the Middle East, I think we need to know a little bit about Germany. Germany is, look at the two flags here. Germany is part of the G7, we know that, and but at the same time, it is also part of the EU, and so sometimes they're operating as an EU representative in business, trade, and stuff like that. But sometimes, you know, they're also in NATO as a G7 country. And so they're part of the defense of NATO. And so they can't just go and, you know, start wars. So it depends which coat they got on. Here they have both as they come to Syria. Yeah, the German minister warned Syria against turning away from the moderate course. And, you know, there's a tendency, what happens, these countries, you know, they get liberated, but they just go back to becoming an Islamic state. And that's what Germany's trying to prevent Syria from doing by offering them carrots of, you know, future taking off sanctions, future arms, stability, as long as they follow EU guidelines as far as religious and civil rights. So this is why they're there. But this is significant. You know, they offer the hand to the French foreign minister, but not to the German foreign minister. Well, because this guy is an Islamist, and so he's not, doesn't touch women. But you know, that's okay as long as, you know, they know their bounds, and so they want to work together here. And Germany doesn't mind working with these Arab states. In fact, Germany has been doing that since 2010. They've been supplying weapons, like I said, to Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Egypt, and the UAE. And so they've been doing it to Israel as well. But how does this all fit in with Bible prophecy? You know, I think one of the things I've been looking at is this Psalm 83, and it talks about a 10-nation confederacy that covenant together. They have one mind, one consent, and they covenant together against Israel, and they're going to take them out as a nation. And so this is prophesied in Psalm 83, and a lot of Bible prophecy guys figure it's a future event that hasn't happened yet, and we see it in the book of Revelation. Comparison 17:12-13 says, and the 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings, which have not received royal power, but they'll receive authority as kings 1 hour with the beast. These all have one mind, and they hand over their power and authority to the beast. I think this beast here is, you know, I see it as sort of this European German beast. One, you know, they're part of the G7. Germany is, and you know, the 7 heads on the beast. You know, 5 had fallen, 1 is, and so we get these different heads mentioned. But also, you know, this beast was of the 7, but is an 8th at the same time. And it reminds me of Germany, how they're in both the EU and in the G7. And whenever you see that group together, the G7, they always have one other flag, and that's the EU flag. So they're really 8, but they always call themselves the G7. And these, it says, this coalition, which I think is more Arab, these make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb overcomes them, for he is Lord of Lords and King of Kings. and they that are with him are called and chosen. And this is what this psalm is going to talk about, this war against God. It's going to turn from a war against Israel to a war against the Lamb, with the Lamb. I'll show you how that works. Psalm 83, it says, "Keep not silent, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up their head. They take crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy," should be holy ones, hidden ones, the saints. And this is Israel. And so Israel is sometimes in God's good book, sometimes not, but they're still his people. And so this psalmist is trying to say, you know, the war is not really against your people. It's against you. It's your enemies. They that hate you. And and so now they're trying to get God in the action here. And then they say, this group, they have come and said, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And you know, where have we heard this lately? Have we? Well, from the rivers to the sea, let Palestine be free. And this is exactly what's happening right now. You know, they want to get rid of Israel. They want them out of there. It's not a two-state solution. It is one. It's they want a Palestinian state where Israel is, because of Sharia law, because of you know, it's the land of Allah, and Jerusalem was once part of their domain. And here it says, "For they have consulted together with one consent." And this word consent here is like the word leb in Hebrew. It means one heart, and like one mind, like the 10 with the beast. They have one heart and one mind, one consent. And they are confederate. The word is, they have cut a covenant, berith, covenant, and against thee. And here we go again. You know, it's so there's some kind of a covenanted deal here. It could be this 7-year covenant against thee, and this covenant's against God, and because it's against Israel. And who are these? And there's these 10 kings, the tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites, which is probably Saudi Arabia, Moab, probably part Jordan, the Hagarenes, some think is Assyria, Gebal, Tyre, Lebanon, Ammon, Amalek, Philistia, you know, we know the Philistines. And then Asher, or Assyria, also is joined up with them. And this word joined here is the word we get for to lend. It's like borrow, lend, and so they've borrowed with them. They've exchanged. It's almost like what the EU is actually doing, and they have helped the children of Lot. The word "help" there is the word for arm, strength, power, and so they've helped them by arming them. And this is what Germany's been doing since 2010, arming Middle Eastern countries. And you know, when you arm somebody who is against God, you're in it yourself, you see. And they're making war against the Lamb. And how does the Lamb come in here? Well, because Jesus is both, you know, he's the Lamb of God, but he's also the Son of God, one with the Father. He's you know, he's part of the Godhead, whether you like it or not. And so you battle with one, you battle with the other. You know, the nations surrounding the land of Israel are these nations like Gebal, or Syria, or Philistia. These all surround the land of Israel. And so this is very significant. So it could fit the Arab nations that we're seeing right today. And Assyria, they're in the north. They'd be like the king of the north. And Germany is in the north. And so I think Germany fits with this beast you know. And it says, Jesus said in Luke 21:20, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, being surrounded by armies, you know that its desolation is near. And this being surrounded is a process. It's the Greek word is not once, but in process. And this is just the start of it, is getting this coalition together, this covenant, and be more and more. But their whole purpose, I said, is not to make a two-state solution or covenant. They're here to destroy Israel. And that's what they will do. They'll bring its desolation in the middle of the week. We know that. And that for 42 months they'll trample underfoot Jerusalem. We see that in Revelation 11:4 or 11:3, I believe. And they'll be given into his hand for times and a half, the Antichrist and the 10 kings. You know, here's another one. The Iron Cross is a military decoration by King Frederick Wilhelm III and by Imperial and Nazi Germany. Everybody knows that. But here we see it hanging on the king of Assyria in the 9th century BC. Some of them have connected Assyria with Germany. And I kind of think it is. And the king of the north, and you know, the beast comes out of Europe, out of Rome. We see the formation of the European Union. I think it's just revived Rome. And the reunification of Germany, you know, that's the Fourth Reich. As soon as Germany comes together, it was the Third Reich that ended. Well, then you come into the Fourth Reich. There's always been a Fourth Reich they've talked about. And we see it in Bible prophecy. I could give you a lot. But here it says, suggesting the revival of the Roman Empire, Daniel 2:42, you know, with the feet, with the 10 toes, partly iron, partly clay. It comes out of the legs of iron. Daniel 7:20 is the head with 10 horns on it. And Revelation 13:1, which is, you know, this beast coming up out of the sea beast, like Germany, and out of death into life. And there they are. And what are they doing? Back in business in the Middle East. And, you know, what's God's response here? Like I say, God is oftentimes, you know, he's going to respond, and it's going to be Armageddon. And here we have it. Do unto them as, this is what the psalmist says, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin at the brook of Kishon, which perished at Endor. They became as dung to the earth. Make them nobles as Oreb and Zeeb, yea, and all their princes as Zeba and Zalmunna, who said, let us take for ourselves the pastures of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel as a stubble before the wind. And this is what God is going to do when Jesus Christ comes. And he's going to strike the image on the feet, this feet, partly iron, partly clay, the 10 toes, this coalition, you know, 1 hour with the beast, and he's going to destroy them and cast the Antichrist and the false prophet into the lake of fire. And this is what this is prophesying. And here there's more. You know, this 7-year covenant, Daniel 9:27, which I think is the backdrop here. Interesting, because if you look, Psalm 83 has a backdrop, and it's Judges and Midian and all this that they're talking about here. And so they're kind of prophesying. They're types of what is going to happen in the future. Judges, for instance, is like a prophetic book. And here it says in Judges 6:1, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of Midian. 7 years. Now, this fits with the 7-year covenant, Daniel 9:27. And you know, for that whole time, Israel is under subjection to Midian. And yet, so God, at the end of that time, raised up a guy by the name of Gideon. He's a type of Christ. And so God is going to save Israel through Gideon. And so the angel of the Lord comes to him and says, arise, O valiant warrior, you know, and he says, go in thy strength and save Israel. God be with you. I'll be with you. And Gideon kind of like, well, but sir, Gideon replied, if the Lord is with us, you know, why has all this happened to us? Where are his wonders that our fathers told us about when they said, did not the Lord bring us up out of Egypt? But now the Lord has abandoned us and put us into the hand of Midian. And it's true, we see this with Israel. It's going to look like, where's their God? You know, God allows them to be defeated. And a lot of people are going to say, well, I guess all those promises weren't true. But they always were. God allows things to happen to Israel as chastisement. And because what does he want? He wants them, their whole hearts. He's tired of them being idolaters to other gods. He wants them to be have him as their God. But you know, they don't know him. But what does the Lord do here? The angel of the Lord, you know, whom Gideon is talking to, suddenly is the Lord. The Lord turned to him, to Gideon, and said, go in the strength you have and save Israel from the hand of Midian. Am I not sending you? This reminds me of, you know, the Father has sent the Son. And Jesus says, I am but sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And so he's sent to save Israel. And you say, well, yeah, but they crucified him. Yeah, but he saved them spiritually at his death on the cross, and us with them. And so, but yet the fullness of that salvation hasn't come. And so God, he's saying, you know, am I not sending you to save Israel? And that's what he's going to do at his second coming. That's when he strikes the image on the feet, and he will save Israel. He will give them back their land and set them up again, which they have lost through the Antichrist. So this is where this is going, and we're not far off from this treaty and this covenant. So we need to keep on the alert on that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and God bless.